Welcome back to another video here on Financial Friends. I am Brendan, and today we are going to be doing a what is in my wallet. I'm very excited for this video. If you're excited to see these credit cards and what I have in my wallet, go ahead and hit that like button down below. It helps out the channel, helps share this video with more people, and if this is something that you know someone would like, go ahead, send this video to them. The more the merrier. I'm very excited, so let's get into it. So first off, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you what I have. This is a Bellroy wallet. Very, very simple wallet. It is just a little slider wallet. Not much to it. Very, very simple, but it works for me. It's great. It holds my identification, and that is about all it needs to do, as well as my 3 credit cards. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this open, and we're going to dive into the video. I do want to touch on a few things first. Why are credit cards good? I think that breaking these things down in a video where I am sharing my personal experiences and what cards I have, this aspect, why are they good? And we're going to touch on why are they bad. These are 2 things that need to be defined before we go into it. So credit cards are good, and the reason I enjoy them is because they limit your risk as a consumer. Now, what exactly does that mean? It means that when you go ahead and, let's say, purchase something, we're going to be extravagant here, for $1 million. You put something on your credit card for $1 million. You are not actually forfeiting that cash. So let's say you have a debit card, and all you use is your debit card. If someone steals those numbers, they steal that security pin, and they go ahead, they have direct access to your bank account to spend all of the money that you have. Whereas if someone gets your credit card and they spent $1 million, then that's okay. You still have all of the money in your account. You can go ahead, make sure that that gets notified to the credit card company that that was fraudulent purchase. It was not you, especially if that purchase looks out of the norm, considering most of us are not spending $1 million at a time very consistently. That will get flagged, and it is not going to get held against you. At the same time, if you go ahead and purchase something for $1 million and it was not what you expected, you can go ahead and easily return that item. And a lot of times these cards will have perks. These are the perks I talk about down here, such as purchase protection, insurance, and other things like that that will protect you as the consumer. The second thing is it helps you build credit. We all know what credit is. We've all been affected by either having really good credit or poor credit at some point or another. Whether you're trying to get a student loan, a car loan, a mortgage, etc., your credit is checked, your credit is pulled, and that is the number that gets used for better or for worse to help describe us as borrowers. And so using a credit card, simply charging it, having a low utilization, having a long credit history, having shown consistent good payments, that will help your credit, and that will be beneficial for you down the long road. And the last one, of course, kind of the reason we're all here, rewards. You get nothing with most debit cards, and so we are here for the rewards, and then also those other perks that we talked about, purchase protection, cell phone protection, maybe different other perks or benefits you might get, like credits, statement credits, Uber Eats credits, etc. Those kind of come with the more premium tier cards, but those are why credit cards are good. Now, why are credit cards bad? Well, for a lot of people, they are easier to spend than cash. This new generation, aka me, we think that cash is easier to spend. We don't want to have cash in our wallet. The number that is on our bank account is more real to us than the cash we have in our pocket. And so we kind of treat our debit cards and credit cards like holy grails, especially, debit cards for most people my age. And our cash that we do get, considering it's very sparing and far and few in between, it just goes right out the door. But credit cards in general, they are easier to spend for most people because it's not actual money leaving your bank account. So please be wary if you are someone who can easily get into debt via spending too much on credit cards. You might want to stay away from them. Also, it can hurt your credit, right? We talked about how it can help your credit, but if you're not making those payments, if you're not on time with the payments, you're not going to have good credit. It actually is going to hurt your credit. If you have high utilization or some other negative, derogatories on your account, that can also hurt your credit. So please be wary of that. And then interest and debt are the last ones. If you're not making full payments on time by the end of the month, please do not get a credit card. You are going to rack up interest and eventually debt, and that is not what you want to do. These are supposed to be positive financial tools that we are able to use to help leverage what we already have, not digging a hole for ourselves. We really don't want to do that. So without further ado, that's why credit cards are good, that's why they're bad, and let's move into what is actually stored in this wallet. So card number one, I'm going to move myself out of the way. The first one I received was the Discover It credit card. I can show that here. It's going to be a little flashy in the camera. And it is good because it has 5% back on rotating categories. So this was my very first card. I was looking for something to just get started with. Something obviously, as I highlight here, with no annual fee. That is a theme you will see throughout my credit cards. They all have no annual fee because I, quite frankly, can't meet the minimum spend requirements and utilize all the perks that these, pay to own credit cards have. And so I'm just going to stick with no annual fee. I get 5% back on rotating categories. So that could be streaming services 1 month, gas and restaurants another. And it changes every single year. I know towards the end of the year, so the last quarter of the year, is actually like Target.com. It was BestBuy.com at one point, Amazon as well. So they're trying to reward you. They want you to get this cash back. And there's a maximum of $75 that can be earned. So I'm not a big spender. I can't necessarily meet that requirement to earn the full $75 back, but you can get up to $75 back per quarter, and then it will drop back down to that 1%. And then if you are purchasing outside of that category, you're just going to receive the normal 1% as well. I started with a $1,500 credit limit, which was pretty good. I mean, I didn't have any credit at all. This was my very first card, and it is not a secured card. I was able to get this card, as are most people that have no credit history, and I started with a $1,500 limit. That has since been bumped up to $2,100, on good length, good payment history, etc. And again, it has no annual fee. So that was my first card, the Discover It card. I will go ahead and leave, if I have referral links, I'll leave all of those down below if you're interested in looking more into these cards. Next up here is the SoFi credit card. This is that card here. I like this card. I honestly think it's probably the best looking one. Maybe I'm a little biased because I really enjoy SoFi, but this was my second card. I decided I wanted to kind of branch out into something a little bit different. And I don't know if I put it on here. Yes, I did. 2%. I'm going to keep moving myself around here. 2% back on everything. That is what this card boasts in terms of a reward, which at the time was really good because anything I wasn't getting 5% on, I didn't want to get 1%. I just get 2% on it. This card also started out with a $1,500 limit. I am still sitting at that $1,500 limit. And the massive opportunity that I saw here with this SoFi credit card was that it was redeemable for stocks, cryptocurrency, loan payments, cash, or as a statement credit back onto the card, and that was only worth half. So let's say you go ahead and purchase $100 worth of items, you would then get $2 that you could invest in a stock, you could invest in a cryptocurrency, you could make a payment on a loan, which I do not have any through SoFi or any at all at the moment, but you can go ahead and make a payment to a loan through SoFi. You can redeem it to your SoFi Money account, which those are now actual bank accounts that you can redeem it to. Or, and this was something they changed as the card kind of progressed and became more popular, you could redeem it as a statement credit, and that is now half. So if you were to spend $100, you would only be getting 1% back within that statement credit category. But I tend to redeem all of my stocks back, or all of my cash back in the form of stocks, mainly SCHD or VOO. And I think SCHD is fantastic because I'm using my card, getting cash back, reinvesting that into a dividend ETF, and then getting paid to own that dividend ETF. It is the infinite monetization loop or infinite dividend sort of, loop of the Graham Stephan world of infinite monetization, but credit card version. And so I am very happy with that card. It is my go-to card in most circumstances. But I found that I had, 2% back on everything, which is fantastic, 5% back on those rotating categories, but the area I spend the most in actually was dining. That is where I spend most of my money. I don't spend too much money, but I knew that I did want a card that catered to that, and so that's why I went ahead and got the Freedom Unlimited card from Chase. Sorry, the number's on the front, so I have to cover up most of the card. But this card boasts 3% back on dining in drugstores. The drugstores one was kind of just an extra perk for me. I really don't do too much shopping at drugstores, but the 3% back on dining was huge. 5% back on Chase travel. So if I did decide to book any travel or anything like that, if you went through the Chase portal, you can redeem for 5% back, and then 1.5% back on everything else. So any purchase outside of those kind of 3 categories would fall into the 1.5% back, which is worse than my SoFi card. So I'll explain how I use all of these. But I did start out with a $3,000 limit, having already had 2 credit cards with good, credit score and history. And they do have, this one does have no annual fee as well. I was looking again to broaden my horizons, and so I decided to, just stick with no annual fee cards. I do want to also point out that I do have a 753 credit score at the moment, just went up 1 point. So that is in reference to all of these. I started out with around, I think, a 720 so after kind of establishing myself with the Discover card rather. Now, this is not a video on how to build your credit score at all. That can be something that is talked about in another video, but I did just want to throw it in there as something to mention. Now, what is next for my credit card journey? What am I looking to establish or do? Well, I have pictures here to kind of define that. This one here, the credit card in the bank, that pretty much means I'm looking to continue to build my credit history, right? I've established a good rapport with these companies. I've established a good rapport with Experian, TransUnion, and etc. So I want to continue that. I want to make my on-time payments all of the time. I want to carry low utilization. I want to just continue to extend my credit history. And at some point, I would like to diversify my credit a little bit. Now, I'm not necessarily looking for a car payment or a car loan. That's not something that I'm interested in, but those are 2, stereotypical loans. You have a vehicle loan and a home loan or a mortgage. A mortgage is something that I would look into. I don't have any student loans currently as a student. That would be something else that, most students could kind of utilize to help buffer their credit score. Having diversified their credit a little bit. I don't have that opportunity. I'm actually, continuing to make my payments on time just with a cash payment plan set up through the school. So diversifying my credit at some point is going to be something I look at doing. And last but not least here, I have this little map because I would look into a travel card. I do expect to be doing travel more as I continue to grow up or kind of move on and progress on into my career and my life. And so I'm looking to establish maybe an Amex card or get my foot in the door somewhere else where I can get a nice travel card. It's not something that's at the top of my priority list. It's kind of why it's at the bottom of the screen. 2 priorities above that one, clearly, would be the continuation of, my good credit history and diversifying my credit. But travel is kind of what's next up on my list. And I know that those Amex cards also have some good points or, cash back, essentially, percentages back on groceries and travel as well as dining. So those are going to be the 3 areas that I kind of spend the most money. So that's where I would be looking to get my cash back. And that about does it. If you're not following on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, go ahead and do that. If you are here on the YouTube channel now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then hit the bell right next to it. You'll be able to get notified every time a new video comes out. I want to thank you for listening. If you did enjoy this video and you learned something, go ahead, leave a like, comment what you learned, and comment your credit card setup below. I'd be very interested to know what all of you guys have in your wallets, and I'll see you in the next one.